Hi everybody, this is Nancy from Tales of the Ravenous Reader, and look who I have here with me today, Mackenzi Lee, and look who I have here too, The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue, which today hit the New York Times bestseller list. Woo, woo. Oh, so excited. I'm so excited for it because I just finished this and I loved it. So I wanted to know, how do you feel about reaching this milestone? How exciting.
I don't know, it's still kind of like, it's only literally been like 2 hours and it kind of still hasn't sunk in yet. And
It's that new, that
I
fresh.
know, you heard it here first.
Yeah.
I'm like taking a red-eye flight out of here tonight and I'm afraid it's going to hit me at like 2 a.m. and 30,000 feet and I'm just going to like start sobbing hysterically on this plane. So I'll let you know. Right now I'm like, still kind of surreal.
Did you call anybody? Who was the first person that you called?
I didn't call anybody because my whole family was with me. My whole family is here. My sister lives in Monterey, so we've had a couple of days visiting her, and then we came up here for the event, and yeah.
How exciting is that?
So yeah, it was nice to be surrounded by everyone. I didn't have to make any phone calls.
See, isn't that really nice? Oh, how exciting. I'm just so happy for it.
Thank you.
I wanted to know this story about Henry Montague,
Sure.
and the adventure that he embarks on when his father sends him on a grand tour of Europe with his sister and his best friend. It is so cute. And what was the inspiration for this delightful story filled with highwaymen and pirates and boys kissing?
Like, it came from like so many places. I very rarely have that sort of like one single inception moment for my books. And so many years ago when I was an undergrad in college, I studied history. I went to England and did a year abroad and traveled around a lot. And then when I came back, not until I came back, ironically enough, did I learn about sort of the concept of the grand tour. And this idea was that if you were a rich, young, white guy in the 1700s and you had that awkward period of time between like finishing school and waiting for your dad to die so you could take over the estate, you would travel and you would tour the continent and you would like have all this culture and meet all these people and then also kind of like sow your wild oats and get the crazy out of your system. And so I learned about that and sort of just kind of shelved it away on my brain as like someday I will write a book about this. And I came back to it as I've gotten sort of increasingly frustrated with the lack of diversity, not just in historical fiction, but in historical narratives. As I looked into sort of like queer people in the 1700s and people of color living in Europe in the 1700s, I realized there were these whole narratives that we just weren't talking about. It wasn't that all these people, like the sort of myths you get is that you have, if you were queer, if you were a person of color, if you were a woman, you had to be like a tragic subplot in a BBC period drama, and that was kind of all you could ever be. When really these people were living like full, happy, romantic lives, like comfortable with their identity and comfortable with their community. And so the book kind of came from a place of frustration of wanting to tell that story, and especially wanting to tell like a no-holds-barred happy ending for a queer couple in the 1700s. And also the Grand Tour was just like a lot of fun. There's like all sorts of hijinks and shenanigans, and I love adventure novels. Pirates, exactly.
It's just amazing. And that's, well, kind of good leadway, because I really appreciated how you incorporated that into the story, how race and sexuality, feminism, and chronic illness was actually dealt with. And what was the thing that you were most proud of including in your story that you...
Definitely probably the queer relationship in there, just because that's something that's very close to my heart, and also was something that kind of the place where it started and sort of the place that I was, I don't know, the stuff I learned the most, the place I learned the most about, not speaking very well right now.
Yeah.
And I just had the most fun doing sort of the research about queer subculture in 1700s England, and how like my favorite fact ever is that there were more gay bars in the 1750s in London than there were in the 1950s, which is, hello.
I had no idea.
I don't know why we're not writing about this all the time. So yeah, that was definitely the element that was sort of the most, and I mean, it was a fun relationship to write. I always thought I didn't like writing romance, and then I wrote Monty and Percy, and then
oh my goodness, I just loved their
was fun.
scenes together, especially their first scene was awesome.
Thank you.
And had us waiting so long.
Yeah, it's a slow burn.
Yeah, that tension, it's amazing. So, but which brings me to Monty, which I just loved him, and you know, he didn't mean to cause trouble, but unfortunately, he seemed to either stick his foot in his mouth, or he was drunk, or he was
he's a big sweet dummy,
or he was running around naked. In the Palace of Versailles, which that scene is awesome. Where do you read that scene? But I just really liked it. What was your favorite part of writing in his character?
I really liked writing his humor. His humor is very similar to mine, and there were a lot of jokes in there that my family is reading the book right now, and my sister especially will sort of text me lines, and she'll be like, "This is just you. Like, this is not even Monty. This is just your humor." So it was fun to write something kind of funny, especially in a historical setting, because I feel like most historical novels are so kind of dour and serious and about sad things, and so it was fun to be just sort of like off the leash in terms of the humor.
Humor was quite well said.
Thank you.
Yes.
I always worry that, like, am I the only person who thinks this is funny? So I'm always relieved that other people think this is funny. But it's also like he was a fun character to write because fun. This is the wrong way to say this. He was an interesting character to write just in terms of like that sort of like fun party boy veneer masks a lot of like hurt and a lot of pain and a lot of like self-loathing. And so we went on quite a journey together, and that he evolved over a lot over the drafts, and I definitely, when I started writing him, didn't sort of realize all that was sort of going on under the surface. So he was a fun character to sort of like explore along with and watch him deepen over drafts.
It was nice to see that with all of the characters in the story, how they change from beginning to end, which brings me to...
You're killing the segues.
I know.
So good.
What is your next story about?
My next story is actually a sequel / companion novel to Gentleman's Guide, and it's called The Lady's Guide to Petticoats and Piracy.
His sister?
It is about Felicity, who is Monty's sister, and sort of about her, it's kind of hard to talk about it without spoiling the first book, her sort of, where her adventures pick up after this book, and it involves, I've been saying it involves like a girl gang that does science and piracy, so...
What more could you ask for in a read?
If either of those are your interests, science and or piracy.
So, lovely people, please pick this book up. It's absolutely amazing. Loved it, and I can't talk about it enough. And we're going to cover it tonight at Kepler's, and so I hope you watch us and say goodbye.